Let me ask you a question about AI music. I know a lot of people say AI music is stealing, AI music is robbery, and if you engage in using AI music, you're a thief. Let's break this down a little bit. There are different levels of using AI for anything. You could use AI for research, and you could take that research and write a paper in your own way. In the same token, you could use AI to generate a prompt, and that prompt could be used to create a song. And you could take what AI gives you and add more to it, remove from it. You can also use AI like a wild card to generate anything AI fancies. But you can take what AI gives you, you could strip it down by stems, you could take one instrument and rebuild something totally different. So when does it start to be theft and where does it stop? You see, a lot of these people who cry, AI is stealing, AI is theft, AI is robbery, they got no idea about how it works. How does it work? Let me ask you this other question. As a musician, when you go to your favorite music store and you buy a set of loops, and you go back to your door and you put that loop in, and it gives you a crazy trap beat with a banging, let's say 808 bass, lush chord pads, everything. Is that bad in your own perception? Now, what if I go into an AI tool and I give it a prompt to say, give me a banging trap beat, 808s, lush pads, and I get something that is unique to me? Never been created before, but the AI algorithm understands data that it's learned from to present something original. Is that stealing to you? Buying a loop versus creating a loop from nothing. How about when I create a totally new idea from scratch? I get my keyboard, I program a beat, I program the drums, the bass, the chords, the lyrics, everything from scratch. I take that entire performance, I play it in the studio as though I was jamming in front of a live audience. I take it and put it inside Suno. And Suno transforms what I've given it while retaining my original idea, but it transforms it by putting horns behind it, background vocals behind it, chord progressions like 13s, sharp 9s, according to whatever I prompted in the music. And it gives me a crazy banging performance. Is that theft? It's my idea, it's my music, it's my melody, it's my harmony. I gave it the vocals, I gave it the inflections, and it's given me something different but original to me. Is that stealing to you? If you think that all levels of AI use are all categorized as stealing, well, I'm sorry, I cannot help you. You are obviously deluded and do not understand the meaning of theft. Now, there's a difference between saying one is lazy and one is a thief. Let's not get it twisted. Because some people, they outrightly rip off artists by taking their music, putting it into AI tools, and trying to get that to generate something similar. That is theft, I agree. But I'm here to debate the fact that not every use of AI is categorized as stealing. And not every use of AI for prompting, for generating prompts, just like today, I'm going to be showing you a tool I've created to help people prompt. Now, some people might be of the impression, Phil, you're aiding and abetting laziness. You're killing music by giving people these options. But do you understand the large gamut of people who use AI for different things? Some people use AI just to have pleasure and escape from the crazy world, and they want to create musical compositions, feel in charge, and just have a ball. So they take prompts that my tools generate, they put them into Suno, and they are happy, they're satisfied. Some people are not trying to be the next Michael Jackson or the next Timberland or the next Taylor Swift. No, they are happy just generating their music for personal use and amusement. Maybe amusement, maybe they're inside jokes and they create music around that, and they are happy doing it, and I don't begrudge them. People should be allowed to use tools that are freely available as they want, instead of having all this shaming going on. And there's a lot of AI shaming going on, which is sad because those people are hypocrites. What do you say to autotune? What do you say to using AI for mastering or AI for equalizing your music? What do you say about all these plugins, which are pretty much a precursor to AI, and some of them are just as AI is? Without those tools, you wouldn't sound the way you do. What about arranger keyboards? I've got tons of arranger keyboards. You hold a chord, it's playing a bass, it's playing the drums, and in other cases, that tool is responding to your play. It becomes dynamic. So what's the difference between that and amping it up with artificial intelligence? You see, the problem is a lot of folks who say AI is stealing, they're just parroting off what other people said, and it's ignorant. Let me tell you how things work. As a human, when you are learning, do you need to ask YouTube for permission? Oh, I want to watch a video. I want to learn how to build a desk. Do you need to get permission from YouTube? No, because the video is readily available on YouTube. Now, when you want to learn a song, you go to YouTube a lot of times, or you go to Spotify, and you learn the song as a human. You didn't violate the rights of the song owner, but you learned the song. Perhaps you learned chordal progressions from the song. Is that theft because you learned from the song? The song is not on my hard drive. I learned from it. I understood the data points and the connections, and now I'm able to extrapolate and put it all back together in some other arrangement. For example, if I learn Mary Had a Little Lamb melody and I take that and with the understanding of how that melody works, create a totally different piece of work. Mi, re, do, re, mi, mi, mi. But I take mi, re, do, re, mi and I make something different. Mi, re, do, re, mi. Do, re, mi. Did I steal? Because I took the understanding of how the melody changes in between those three notes. Are you getting what I'm saying, my friends? Because the way AI learns is different from the way many people think. Many people think AI learns by taking the songs and smack dabbing it onto your hard drive, and you stole it because it's on your hard drive, and anytime someone wants to create a song, they are going to your hard drive to take that data and create. No, that is not how AI learns. AI learns like humans do. That's why it's called artificial intelligence. You get what I'm saying? So when AI learns, it's taking pools of available data, it's extrapolating relationships between notes and timbre and pitch and resonance and all of those instrument variables and voice variables and dynamics. And it's understanding through vast amounts of data analysis how all of that comes together to give you the information in a song that when presented sounds pleasant. So the way AI learns is by copious amounts of data. But when it learns, it's not storing the data on its hard drive. It is extrapolating the relationships between pitch, notes, variables, timbre, raspiness of the singer, smooth sounding singing, and chordal relationships, and being able to identify those chordal relationships. And for example, when I put my audio prompt into the tool, it's been trained to analyze, oh, what's this guy playing? That's a major seven flatted fifth. That's a 13th. That's a minor sixth. It's understanding my data as a result of other data it's studied. But it doesn't mean it's using the other data it studied to put a secret sauce into my final composition, because I'm giving it very rigid, no tolerance. Here's the audio, here are the chords, here's the melody, here's the harmony. Cook it like this. Don't cook it any other way but this. And that's how some people prompt, just like me. I prompt with a lot of specificity. Now I'm here to challenge you to understand that that is not stealing. Now, you know the shocker that's going to come for a lot of people is when the 11 Labs model. What is the 11 Labs model? The 11 Labs model is one that learns your voice, learns your tone, your timbre, pitch, inflections, and gives you a replica of your voice. And that's why 11 Labs is the GOAT when it comes to voice cloning. But that same technology of voice cloning is coming to a movie near you. And that will be able to take your songs, your catalog, your library, and create music based on a finite amount of music in a catalog. Now I'm wondering, what will the skeptics say at that point? At that point, will they still call it stealing when the AI is learning from your music? Let's even go a step further. When the AI learns from music you created using loops that you legally own, you bought the loops. I've got thousands of loops. Once upon a time, I used to sell my loops that I created on eBay. That's how I started making money on eBay back in the day, for those who know what eBay is. I'd sell loops on CDs. I would make various genres: smooth jazz, paranormal, suspense, rock, funk, all that stuff. And people would buy my loops and they could use it anyhow they want, within the limits, of course. They just weren't allowed to resell, but they could create music all day long with my loops. In the future, you will have a finite amount of information in music, and you will be allowed to feed that into a tool, just like 11 Labs. And at that point, what are the skeptics going to say? I'm curious to know whether they'll still say, that's stealing. They probably won't. But they would have missed out on understanding the evolution of these things. Well, maybe they don't care. But for those of you in this group, on this channel, who are keen on understanding more about AI, I'm here to help you understand, unravel, because I know some of you you're not quite in the middle. You're on one extreme or the other, right? But it's important that we understand all arguments. Some use of AI for music is definitely stealing. When you steal someone's voice inflections, timbre, and sound, and you replicate, just like the AI Drake, that is not allowed. I'm definitely not advocating anything like that. Or when you take the artist's music and you want to create a beat like theirs, so you prompt with their music. No, that's theft. That's not allowed. You don't feed their music into the tool explicitly. We saw Timbaland make that mistake with Suno. That is absolutely not allowed. And I know that a lot of people that may want to do that, they may want to scrape music and throw it into the tool and hope they're not discovered. That is not allowed. But what I'm saying is legitimate and okay use is when people say, okay, I want to create a song. Let me go into Suno. Create me a song. Oh, write lyrics for me. Oh, just give me music. While the music elitists will say that's lazy, what a scumbag, you're stealing. No, they're not stealing. And also, we need to understand people are in it for different reasons, and people should be allowed to use a tool as they wish. Taking it up a level, some people write all their lyrics, they hum a melody, they put it in the tool, it's their melody, it's their lyrics. And then Suno gives them a supersize of that with additional instruments or lyrics. Same melody, same lyrics. It's not theft. You could argue, well, someone could have had this job in a studio. Maybe. But not everyone has to do that. I remember back in the 80s and 90s, a lot of people were using drum machines and arranger keyboards to do entire albums. They didn't have money for going to pay tons of instrumentalists to come play. Some did, but some didn't, and they'll take the easy route. Then we ended up having loops, different loops for bass and drums and keys, and people started using that to cut costs. Now there's AI. Why should we shame a musician who wants to use AI to create? You get what I'm saying? There are different levels of using AI, and there's some people who take an entire finished song, put it in, see what comes out, and they get stems, they experiment, and that's what I do. I put entire tracks in, I experiment, and my goodness, Suno is absolutely sick. It's ridiculous what it gives back to me. Now, I'm not trying to get you to use Suno. I don't work for Suno. At this point, I have no affiliations with them. But my oh my, their tool is ridiculous. It's crazy. Now, today, I'm going to demonstrate what my tool that I created, a prompter, to help prompt those of you who want to create more robust music. It's a prompter I created. Now, if you go to philc.net, Phil with two L's, phillc.net, when you get to this website, just click on Environment Generator. You'll be able to see my prompt generator. It's a pretty basic one. You could choose from these available genres. And you can also go to my world music generator, and I have a generator. This is my favorite one because I love world music, and you can generate prompts for your world music, and you can get some pretty convincing tracks from Suno. Now, very recently, I got a chat from our friend Beatology who said, hey, why don't you create something with subgenres? So if you scroll down, you see I've added Phil's Prompt Supersizer. And in this supersizer, I have the genre. If you select Latin, then you can select a subgenre. And then you can select a mood, the tempo, drums, bass, lead melody. Maybe it's a guitar, or maybe none, all right? The harmony, the mix and production, and the structure. You just hit generate prompt, and there's your prompt. Copy it, and then go into Suno and just have some fun with this thing. So, go into Suno. Let's make it an instrumental. Let's put in what we have generated, and let's just say fun test. Let's create. And within a few seconds, you have an option that at least you generated. And for those people who disparage individuals that click for a prompt, such as in my tool, I want to remind you that some people have mobility issues. Did you know that? What I went through earlier this year was a reminder that not everyone who looks the same is the same. I had a really bad rotator cuff tear. I could barely lift a phone, talk less a keyboard. And moving my arm around was very painful. I'm still in recovery right now. But there are a lot of people that don't have a huge range of motion. So for those people, I don't begrudge them if they want to click a mouse and generate a prompt. And there are lots of people who don't have the cognitive ability to think like many of the accusers do, who say, well, you should be able to think. You should be able to just think about what you want to generate. Not everyone can do that. So I need you to understand the empathy side, because I didn't really understand it in the beginning until when this happened to me. I now started seeing everything, because like for me, before that happened, I would pound on the piano because I'm a very heavy-handed player. Love the work of McCoy Tyner, I must tell you. And I'm rather percussive because I also play percussion. So I'm a bit of a percussive player. But it wasn't until this happened I started realizing why certain people don't like weighted keyboards. And it dawned on me, oh, I see why people don't like the weighted keyboards. And I started having more empathy towards people who wanted the lighter weight for that reason. So not everyone is the same. I really want you to understand this. So when we criticize those who are using AI music, let's understand AI music has helped many, including those with dementia and other disabilities, to get some joy, to realize some sort of happiness from these tools. All right, so just bear that in mind. Let's take a look at what we generated with that prompt we just put in. So here's fun test. I'll just play a little bit of it for your amusement. Here we go. Not bad. All right, that's really very nice indeed. Quite like that. Very melancholic. Lovely. All right, let's take a look at the second one we generated with that prompt. Wow. Oh, wow. Let's hear that. I love that. It's lovely. Very melancholic. So, my friends, over the past number of minutes, we've been talking about AI music. We've been trying to address, is it theft? We've been trying to understand the different gradations of AI music. Not everything that is AI music is generated from scratch by the tool. You get what I'm saying? I hope this gave you some context. If you found value from it, smash the like button. And don't forget, check out my prompt tool. I think it will help lots of you who are AI music creators. Okay? And, for those who say being masterful with prompts doesn't count, the new age of where we're going with AI, yeah, you better believe. It's just like being a coder. Now, while we may not see it as creativity, I want to say you got to be quite creative in how you create the prompts. I created this tool, and I had to be quite creative in how I put it together. All right, my friends, you take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.